Holy moly, my client manifested back her SP after 5.5 years of no contact. So for those of you out there who have a SP that you've been wanting to manifest for a while, or you think that you haven't spoken in ages and it's not going to manifest for you, well, guess what? It most certainly can. So if you want to know what she did, as well as the changes that she made that really seemed to bring it in quick, then you're going to want to stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting, rousing episode of Spilling the Tea Tuesday. My name is Flossie and I consider myself to be like the funniest, wittiest mindset coach, as well as your OG Hype You Up Rampage Queen here on YouTube. If you want one-on-one coaching with me, links of course are going to be in the description box below. I'm going to do my calendar, although it's kind of lame this week, all about Halloween. So take 500, let's get into the calendar. Bring on this batshit crazy week. You know, sometimes I think this calendar has a lot of negativity in there because it doesn't have to be batshit crazy unless you want to manifest that way. Cue the fucking costume scramble. Not if you plan ahead. No one should eat that candy corn shit. You know, some people really like that. Doesn't really matter to me. Hell yes. Take all the M&Ms. I say hell yes and just get all your manifestations, period. Trick or fucking treat. You can have it be a treat if you decide that you're going to affirm and persist so that you don't get the trickery of the 3D reality. A whole fucking extra hour took that damn long to reset the clocks or whatever. It took that long to reset all the damn clocks. There's going to be the time change here soon that the States does, and some other places do it as well. But yeah, the fall back, spring ahead. It's time to fall back, apparently. So let's get into the video, yo. So I have a client. She started working with me sometime in March of 2024. She wanted to manifest a specific person that she hadn't been in contact with for ages. She initially started with law of assumption, you know, I think like 3 years earlier or something like that. And then we talked, laid out some affirmations, worked out a plan, and then she started to get going on it. Well, I wanted to do this video for a couple different reasons. First of all, to inspire those of you who have a specific person that you haven't spoken to in a long time, into knowing that you can still manifest that person should you choose. Now, if you don't want to manifest somebody, don't manifest them. If you do, you can. Why? Because you're the operant power of your reality. You can literally do have anything that you want. So this is to inspire those of you who have been a long time, as well as let you know some of the changes that she made during her process that she felt like made a difference to her, which illustrates, number one, to do some of the things that we suggest to you in the first place in order to get what you want. And number two, let you know how the manifestation process looked for her, because she was messaging me during some of the process and letting me know like what movement that she was having. So when I first started working with her, she was telling me that someone in the 3D had told her that, you know, SP was in like a serious relationship, like, you know, married. And she told me that she was going to go ahead and reject that and just decide to assign the meeting that like that didn't happen. The friend was lying. I got a message from her towards the end of September, so not too long ago, where she said that she came across multiple posts on social media with SP without a ring on his finger after like affirming and deciding to really stick to this new story. And so she, you know, was sticking to it, imagining it in her mind, and then she saw it playing out in the 3D. And she also felt like the rampage that I made her was helpful for manifesting her SP as well, was one of the comments that she made. And then about mid-October, so a little over 2 weeks later, she actually got movement with her specific person where he was saving some of her videos on one of the social media sites. And she was feeling like the meaning that she was assigning to that, well, you know, it's unfolding, like my manifestation's unfolding. Now, keep in mind, as I've mentioned before, and I'll say again, we often walk in this duality, right? Where we know we don't have what we want in the 3D, but we're telling ourselves a story. And so a lot of times we're telling ourselves Like if you're manifesting a specific person, you're going to be like, that person's mine, they belong to me, we're in this amazing relationship, or whatever it is that you're affirming, whatever story that you create. But at the same time, when you see movement, it's okay to be like, yes, this is movement. This is my unfolding process. This is my manifestation coming in. Why? Because it must, like it's inevitable. It has to unfold because I'm the operant power and my 3D reality has to conform to whatever I choose to think and assume. Couple days after she sent me the message about SP liking some of the things on social media, he actually started liking some of the recent photos that she had and just not saving videos. So she's excited because she's getting more movement. She's just choosing to persist in getting the whole manifestation. And then a couple of days after that, she got more likes on social media and more of him saving videos and photos from where she's on social media, where she's able to see like who's saving it and who is like liking things and whatever. She was getting more action there, if you want to say it. So, she basically went from end of September noticing on social media that there was no evidence existing any further of a, relationship, of a third party. And then a couple weeks after that, a little over a couple weeks, she started getting movement on social media where saving videos, liking photos, liking the things that she had, and saving some things to his favorites is what happened on the third message that she sent, that she noticed that he wasn't just saving. Now he was saving them to his favorites. And so she was just looking at it as the 3Ds catching up. And then about a week after the first message that she sent me that he was saving her, photos and videos, he started messaging her and was messaging her after 5.5 years of literally zero contact, no contact, none. And she was intending that they would have a conversation on the phone. A little while later, she messaged me and said that basically he's come rushing in and that he's hers, and like this is her manifestations unfolding. And she thanked me for everything and said that, I helped to keep her inspired, and the rampage really helped her to keep her motivated. And things are continuing to unfold where now they're planning to have a get together very, very soon. She ended up saying as well that he ended up unblocking her on another on a different social media, that apparently they never really were, she never really had him on there, but now she's not blocked on there. As far as she's concerned, her manifestation is in, it's coming in hot, and she's going to continue to affirm and persist, period. As far as some of the things that she said, she started manifesting him in September 2021 ish, with using law of assumption from what I understand. And she did make some changes though in what she was doing. And let me point out, because she sent me a voice note and I kind of took some notes. So let me just hurry up and get over to that. So for a long time, she said that she kept wavering, and sometimes it was constant. And when she was in these periods of constantly wavering, she felt like she was just putting herself in, as she put it, like a state of doubt. And when that happened, she found it really hard to get back on the horse. So I have a video that I'm going to direct you guys to where it's like stop a spiral before it starts, where it talks to you about how to recognize when a spiral is going to happen, or like when you're really going to start wavering, and stop yourself from entering that like real state of doubt, real, thinking that it's not going to happen for you. Like, don't even get there in the first place by following some of the tips I have in that video. The other thing that she mentioned was, oh, sorry, my dog, Peaches. She felt like she was separate from her manifestation. And then fast forward to this last July, she decided that she was going to be consistent. So she would tell herself that the manifestation was hers no matter what. She just decided that it was hers, and she kept bringing herself to that mindset that it was hers, that it belonged to her. One of the things that she also did was she manifested other things in order to build her confidence. Now, I have an entire video on that where I talk about building confidence as a manifestor using the wouldn't it be funny if list. And I'm going to link that video here because I don't want to make this video like super lengthy describing all of the different ways to do these things. So if you want to help build confidence as a manifestor, because that is very helpful to the process, do you have to feel like you're a confident manifestor? No. Do you have to have full faith in manifestation? No. Do people tend to get their shit faster when they have an assumption that they're able to manifest? Yes. And that's what building the confidence in manifesting does. So she was manifesting other things that built her confidence, which she says helped her to know that she could manifest. And so she just took it as that she had this knowing or understanding or certain level of acceptance. I'm just using other words to try to help you guys to understand the concept. But, I think sometimes things are a little misconstrued. They'll say, well, you're in the knowing. Well, to me, that is just like, if you feel like it's like you're having confidence in it. You might have some faith in it. You might have a certain level of acceptance that this is the way something is. So she felt more confident as a manifestor. She also decided to get rid of the old story, which is something that her and I talked about, getting rid of an old story and assigning meanings that work for you. And that was one of the things that she found really helpful. So for her situation, and she found initially, earlier in her journey, that she was just trying to micromanage all of the past and revise all of the past. So instead of doing that, which she found really overwhelming, she changed it to, I guess one could say it's a form of revision. You could also look at it as assigning a meaning. Sometimes people use that term interchangeably. It depends on the specifics, but essentially she just decided to make it to where her specific person does not remember any of the old story. And she used I think an assumption that a lot of us have. And in the example that she left me in her voice note, it's like, if you take a class like a long time ago, you're probably not going to remember all the details of that class. You just kind of stop remembering at a certain point. And so she felt like she could easily use the assumption that, you forget about shit over time in order to just choose to assume that the SP doesn't really remember the old story. He just remembers that he's madly in love with her, period. Some people could look at that as revision, especially if the SP saying, we're never going to be together because of X, Y, Z. You could revise it to where like they just literally aren't saying any of those things because they literally don't really remember what happened, or they only remember positive things about you. But at any rate, she chose to basically get rid of the old story, put it in the trash where it belongs, stop micromanaging every single detail of the past, and just chose to think as though he didn't remember any of it. And she said that me reminding her that, she was operant power, that she was the one with free will in her reality, and that she could assign meanings that work for her was really effective for her with the coaching, because ultimately that's what she decided to do. So at the end of the day, she decided to basically trust the process, have confidence in herself as a manifestor. She decided that she was going to create a story that worked for her and just stick to that story no matter what. She decided that she was not going to really waver anymore because she was going to basically tell herself, like, no, it was hers. It belonged to her. It doesn't matter what the 3D showed her. And she was going to continue to persist in that until she got what she wanted, and continue to persist until it's hardened into fact. She started really having these movements after she changed what she was doing in July. And then everything started coming together when she decided on a story and affirming and just sticking to that new story, which is some of the things that we tell you guys. We tell you guys to assign meanings that work for you, and I can stick a video about that here. But we also talk to you guys about choosing to have a clean mental diet and persisting, which is persisting. People get clean mental diet and persisting confused. They're kind of in the same boat, but not fully. So having a clean mental diet means is that you're thinking positive thoughts in line with your manifestation. And if you think negative things, that you're going to opt to correct that, because you want to have as many thoughts as you can, if you're thinking about it, to be in line with what you want. Why? You don't want to think about what you don't want, because you don't want to manifest more of that. Persisting is you choose to think positive thoughts and stick with the positive meanings that you're assigning, despite what you think you see or hear in the 3D. So clean mental diet is, I'm going to think these thoughts. Persisting is, it doesn't matter what the 3D shows, I'm sticking to these thoughts. So you're going to continue to stay on that track no matter what, stay solid. Having said that, I'm just going to see if there was anything else interesting that she said here in the messages that she sent me, because I was trying to read some of what it said, and as well as summarize a pretty lengthy voice note that she left. So excuse my looking real quick. She just, she basically decided to step in her power at the end of the day and not accept anything less. She just chose to think this is the way that it's going to be, and that is what she stuck to. So when you make that choice, or you choose to expect something to be a certain way, and I probably have enough room to link that video here too, expecting is the same thing to me as, or very similar to, choosing to assume. Because if you expect something, if you anticipate something, you're just thinking it's going to be that way, and you're choosing to believe it's going to be that way, whether you have proof or not. Now, keep in mind that as far as manifestation goes, you don't have to actually believe what you're affirming for in order to be able to get it. But there is a certain level of a buy-in that your mind's going to have of thinking that what you're affirming for could possibly be true in order for it to go to the subconscious to manifest. And I think that's what trips a lot of people up. They think they have to believe it. Well, you don't. But, having that level of acceptance of what you're thinking could possibly be true is important. So one of the things that she did say in one of the messages to me, because I asked her like how she felt my coaching helped her, was the encouragement and empowerment. And, she also liked the rampage that I did. And she said, you told me I could do this no matter what the 3D shows, because the only real reality is in our minds and we decide. You also said to assign meanings that work in my favor and get to choose what meaning I give it, which I think was also a huge help. And so even in her conversations with him, she was focusing on the new story, keeping things fun and lighthearted like they used to be. And it is now favorable again. So she's just deciding the way that their conversations are going to go. And that's just hardcore facts, period. She just also said that she just chose to assume that there was never a third party, and he's ringless. And then he's, then has been ringless. So she also comments that everything works out if we allow it to unfold and keep coming back to what we decide within our minds without forcing things in the 3D. So, people are going to keep in mind, they're going to have their experiences, and they're going to form assumptions based on the experiences that she has, or that they have rather. But at the end of the day, what this illustrates is she became more consistent. She decided to stop wavering. She just decided that her 3D was going to be a certain way, and that she was going to affirm and persist for that. And so those are some of the key core changes. And it's a lot of times what we talk about. Can you get what you want if you waver? Of course you can. Can you get what you want if you don't believe it? Of course you can. Can you not even have faith in a manifestor and still get it? Yes, because your overall dominant assumption on a topic is what's going to win. It's what you're going to experience. Having said that, when you are confident as a manifestor, it speeds shit up for you. When you really persist in what you want and assign meanings that work for you, it speeds it up for you. Why? Because it reduces the resistance that you have to the manifestation. It reduces that negative thinking, the resistance, your attachment to the old story, your mind stuck on that old story. It helps to chip away at all those things. And if I have any space left, I'll try to link the video here where I talk about manifesting and how manifesting works using props, because I do use different visualization tools to help you guys to understand how our different assumptions and resistance interact with affirming, persisting, and overcoming it, and why some things manifest fast and some don't. So at the end of the day, I'm hoping that this video has been helpful to you, been inspirational to you, showed you how her journey looked for her. Does it have to take 4.5 years of 4 years of affirming for somebody? No. Can you get manifestations much sooner? Yes. Do I want any of you guys to think that it's going to take a certain amount of time like that? No. We can get things faster, but you see the big difference in she's on this journey, she's wavering, she's having all this doubt, she's probably spiraling, because that's what it sounded like to me. She's not persisting, she's not assigning meanings that worked for her. But when she really started to be like, I think in July, if I can my assumption is, or my thought process is that she probably got tired of this shit and said, fuck it, I'm just going to do this period. And I'm just going to put my almighty foot down as I empower my reality and decide that this is how it is. And so July, she decided to design meanings that really worked for her. She decided to persist. She decided to stop wavering. And then lo and behold, here, and that was, I don't know what part of July, but she started really getting movement at the end of September, and then more movement the middle of just this October. And now they're planning a trip. They've been in constant communication. She's getting what she wants, period. So the actual time frame of her manifesting and probably doing it, for lack of a better word, more properly, like really focusing on what she wanted instead of being all over the place, was actually kind of a short period of time. Many times when people are manifesting a specific person that they have a really old story with, or a lengthy old story, they're so focused on that old story and they keep wavering back to that old story that they cause themselves their own unintentional delay. And sometimes that unintentional delay can be pretty lengthy. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait forever to literally get my fucking shit. So, what's the moral of the story, boys and girls? Gain confidence as a manifestor, because that can be helpful. Assign a story and a meaning that works for you and stick to that. Stop the wavering. Decide that you're just going to affirm and persist and be like, nope, this is the way it is. Nope, this is the way that is. It's mine. It belongs to me. Step back into your power as the operant power of your realities and get what you want. So, at any rate, hope this video is not too long, because it's probably going to be about, 22 minutes long by the time I'm done editing it. And yeah, so, I think on the podcast that I have with Nikki, I think one of our next topics is people were asking some questions about her journey with manifesting her specific person. She wanted to clarify, I think, a couple of things for people. And so I think that's going to be one of our next topics, as well as, in the Assumption Effect Facebook group, there is a post in there that you could, put suggestions of things. And if you're not in Sammy's Mermaid Gang Success Story Facebook group, you might want to pop in over there, because it's literally success only. So at any rate, drop your comments, questions, or concerns below, because we always check them out as usual. Talk to you later. Bye.